First of all, thank you very much for attending to this talk titled Using Alfresco and Cloud Apps in Harmony. Okay. Before starting, I would like to say thank you to the organization for letting us to be here today. Because it's my first time presenting in the Alfresco Summit, and the same for my colleague Antonio, so really appreciated for this opportunity. Having said that, let's gonna start. This is the agenda that we are going to cover. First of all, we are going to talk a bit about us. In the second point, we will see how the cloud services are moving to the cloud. The next point, we will talk about the... Can you hear me well? Okay, because, okay. And the third point, we are going to talk about the IT infrastructure, when we have both on-premise and cloud infrastructure, okay? In the fourth one, we are going to see which are the challenges when we have a mixed infrastructure. As an example of all of this, we are going to see a demo with a story about Antonio and myself. Antonio is a senior software engineer working at Zaizi. He has a lot of experience in semantic technologies because he's working in the R&D department. And in my case, my role in the company is project manager. I usually manage the Alfresco and FSO projects. About us, both of us, we are computer engineers. We have a master's degree. Zaizi, the company where we work, basically we are an open source development company based in 4 countries: London, UK, sorry. We have offices in London where we have the headquarters. We have an office in Seville, in Colombo, and also in Singapore. And the main goal of the company is, in summary, to help people to work together more effectively. Sorry. In order to achieve this, what we offer is basically we are an open source system integrator, specialist in ECNs in Alfresco. Also, we also work with other technologies like FSO, Varnish, Cosine. We are also focused on semantic technologies, as I said before. Another technology like Solar, Amazon, and so on. We are Platinum Alfresco partner. We were the best system integrator partner the last year, and yesterday we won 3 new prizes. Okay, we are now the best system integrator partner in the North Europe, the best system integrator partner in the EMEA, and also the $1 million club in 2013. We also provide, we have experience to ensure the success of project, and we also provide 24/7. As you can see, there are a lot of prizes, okay? But if I had to highlight which is the best value of the company, I don't have doubt that this is our family. We have a number of engineers, high qualified, most of them certified in Alfresco, and without them, Zaizi wouldn't make sense, you know. They are the really heart and the real engine of the company. And finally, to finish talking about us, these are some of our clients: Eurostar, Bristol. Eurostar is going to be present tomorrow, I think, in another talk. Camden, Net-a-Porter, and so on, okay? So let's gonna start. This is the first interesting point, apart from us. Moving things to the cloud. I guess that all of you know that the cloud services are a new trend, okay? Because in the last year, most IT companies that are offering services also provide services in the cloud, okay? This is not something that I'm saying. If we take a look to this chart, this is a Gartner review that was published in February of the year. The prevision for 2016 is that we have 3 times better market in the cloud services than what we have in 2010, okay? So it's clear that this is going to be a trend and a good market, okay? And some examples about this is, for instance, Google Apps. As you can see in the picture, in the last Google I/O, these guys present that from 2004 until 2012, they are having 425 million of users. I mean, using the the Gmail service, and seeing that this service is working so good for them, they continue with a complete suite of many services as Calendar, Drive, Docs, Chicks, and Slides, okay? And they are having an incredible market adoption because they have about 5 million business using this application, million of users, as I said before. They are covering many sectors as banking, education, and government. And also they have really good clients as BBVA or Salesforce. And talking about Salesforce, this is another example where they are having a really good adoption in the market as software as a service, because, you know, according to Forbes, they have increased from 230,000 in 2004 to 1.7 million of subscribers in basically 5 years, okay? And these are the customers that they have at the moment. And what's happening with Alfresco? Because we are in the summit, and also Alfresco is in the cloud. So this Alfresco is in the same line that we are talking about. So what's the cloud mean for your company if you decide to go to the cloud and use services? This means reduce internal IT needs, because if you decide to go to the cloud, you don't need engineer to do that. You don't need to pay for servers or whatever. This means to have a low cost of entry, because you just pay for what you need. If you have 50 employees in your company, you just have to pay for that, no more. You have a fast setup and implementation, because you don't need to configure anything. You just pay and have what you need, I mean the cloud services. And finally, if you are using services in the cloud, there are many integration between them, so this is another feature that is good in the cloud, okay, that we don't have usually in the when we work on premise, okay. We have told only about good things, but is everything so wonderful when we are talking about the cloud? The answer is so. No, okay? Which are the limitations that we see? If you go to the cloud, you obviously increase your security risks, because you don't manage the servers where your data is, okay? Apart from that, you don't have access to these servers, so you have restricted access, okay? On top of that, regarding to the service level agreement about availability, outage, and lost data, this is something that you have to manage with your provider, because if you go to the cloud, you are not managing this, okay? Another stuff are that most companies, more enterprises are skeptic to move to the cloud are the legal restriction, because, for instance, if you are a government, it's not easy to move to the cloud, okay? If you have a legacy system, as for instance SAP, and you have invested a huge amount of money on it, it's difficult to say, okay, forget this, leave it, and go to the cloud. And also, another thing that we have to take into account is the loss of trust in our cloud provider, okay? Because they have to look after to our content, and we have to trust them, okay? And finally, the last 2 points is just that if you need in your company some custom development, and this customization are not provided for your cloud service provider, what happened? Because this is a limitation. If you need something in your business processes and the service in the cloud are not providing, is not providing this is a limitation, okay? So in this scenario where we have cloud services and we have advantage and limitation, where we have this, for instance, no, we have the cloud services, on-premise infrastructure, okay, and in the middle, infrastructure where we have a mix between on-premise and cloud, okay? And around this, we have many factors that, as integration, authentication, synchronization, cost, customization, etc., that depending on this and depending of the requirement or the needs that your company has, you have to decide if you are here, you are there, or you are in the middle, okay? So, for instance, in the case of Alfresco, if you feel comfortable using a full cloud solution, because Alfresco in the cloud provides you all you need, you don't need any customization, just use it, pay for what you need. However, if you require some integration or customization, and you want to deploy Alfresco in your private servers, you have to use Alfresco as we have used so far, okay? And finally, if you want to manage the entire life cycle, connecting on-premise and cloud services, then in this case, you have to have a mixed infrastructure synchronizing the content, okay? So we have on-premise, we have cloud, and we have some factors that, depending on them, we are going to choose one infrastructure or the other one, okay? And in the next slide, we're going to be focused in integration, authentication, and synchronization. Be focusing in the middle, because we think that this is the key, this is the main infrastructure that companies are going to have in future, okay? So, which are the challenges? In this case, we have Alfresco on-premise, we have Alfresco in the cloud, and other services, like for instance, Gmail, Salesforce, or Cosign. Cosign is a digital signature tool that we have integrated with Alfresco that we are going to see in the demo that my colleague is going to show later. So, no problem, no worries about that. Having this scenario, here we can identify authentication, synchronization, and integration. And these are the main points that we are going to describe or to try to identify now. So these are the challenges: integration, synchronization, authentication. First one, authentication, which is the challenge. Because we are going to use many services in the cloud, we are going to have many logins, one per each service, okay? So we need to allow access to the different services with the same credential. So it's basically have single sign-on, but in the cloud with different domains. Obviously, this is different that the LDAT that we are used to use in the on-premise Alfresco, okay? So this is the first challenge, and as solution, we need a component as identity provider to send the authentication result only to those services where it trusts, okay? So in this case, basically what we need is a component on top of the services that allow us to do single sign-on between them, okay? And just entry for the single sign-on, in this case, the identity provider. We are not going to provide further detail about this because all of this is based on SAML, and tomorrow is going to be, there is another call about this, okay? no, it's not tomorrow, it's on Thursday, I think. Basically, the option that we have in order to set up an identity provider is PingOne, OpenAM, or Chibolet, okay? In the sample that we are going to see later, we are going to use PingOne. This is PingOne, in fact, okay? This is an application that allows us to register some services where we are going to do single sign-on. And basically what this tool needs is that we register in PingOne and also in the different services a certificates and some metadata in order to establish a circle of trustment of truth, okay? Because PingOne is going to trust in those applications that are registered in PingOne, okay? So in this case, we have registered Alfresco Cloud, Alfresco On-Premise, Gmail, and Salesforce. Everything about this is going to be detailed in the demo that Antonio is going to show later, okay? So this is basically the application, the configuration that we have applied. This is in Alfresco Cloud. Basically, the certificate, the endpoint, and some URLs. This is the case of Gmail. The same for Salesforce, okay? On top of that, apart from the application, using a user as administrator, we have registered some users that can make single sign-on using PingOne. And this is the desktop that PingOne creates in order to have an easy way to access to the different services. As you can see here, we have Alfresco On-Premise, Salesforce, Alfresco in the cloud, and Google, and Gmail, okay? So as we see later in the demo, we are going to be able to access with single sign-on to these different services just with one click and just introducing our credential once, okay? And this just for information, PingOne also provides you a dashboard showing you which are the current applications that you have installed, which are the logins, the login failures, and some statistics, okay? Second challenge, integration. In this case, we are going to be focusing the integration between Alfresco and Salesforce, okay? And basically the challenge is connecting services according to our business needs. And depending, the solution, depending of your customer requirement, you have to integrate cloud with cloud services or cloud with on-premise. In this case, focus in Salesforce and Alfresco Cloud. As you can see in the slide, what we have done is to install within Salesforce a plugin of Alfresco where we are configuring here the site where the document that we are going to put in Salesforce are going to be stored in Alfresco, okay? So basically this is a plugin that allows users to attach to opportunities in Salesforce documents, this content is stored in the Alfresco Cloud, and also this plugin allows us to synchronize the metadata that we include in our opportunities in Salesforce, and also to search about using this metadata in Alfresco. This is going to be shown in the demo as well, okay? And basically, what this module does is to include a section within the opportunities tab in Salesforce to show the documents that are related to the opportunity that we are using in this CRM to manage the users, okay? Sorry, the opportunities for future clients, okay? Last challenge, synchronization. In this case, it's easy because I guess you know the synchronization that exists between Alfresco and on-premise and Alfresco in the cloud. Okay, so the challenge in this case is share context between different systems, both on-premise and cloud services, and the solution obviously requires development, but it's basically synchronized content. Okay, and in this case, what we have done is to configure in our Alfresco on-premise a folder everything about this is going to be shown in the demo later. So I think you are going to understand better with my colleague Antonio, okay? So basically what we have done is to configure a folder to synchronize the content to the cloud, okay? And it's just to click and introducing your credential. It's so easy. So this is about the challenge. So now what we are going to do is to, based on a specific scenario where we have cloud services and on-premise services, what we are going to do is to show a demo where you are going to be able to see integration, authentication, and also synchronization between services in the cloud and also Alfresco on-premise. So, Antonio?
Well, the use case we are going to show is the following. A new customer has a new need to satisfy in his company, and it writes a new requirement document to show what it wants to do. And this document is sent to a supplier or several suppliers to see if one of them can develop the needs he wants to solve. So once the document is sent to the supplier, in this case, the supplier is using Salesforce in order to manage the customer relationship. And as we have seen before, it creates a new opportunity in Salesforce. Salesforce is configured with the Alfresco plugin in order to store all the documents attached to Salesforce in Alfresco Cloud. In turn, the Alfresco Cloud is synchronized with an Alfresco on-premise instance in order to leverage the custom development in the on-premise instance. So, for example, the digital signature in Alfresco. So the supplier upload the new requirement document, and it creates a new sequence of Word documents in order to show to the client the steps he is going to follow in order to solve the needs the customer want to do. Once the document is uploaded to Salesforce, the supplier sign it via cosign within Alfresco on-premise. And once the document has been signed, it's automatically synchronized with the Alfresco cloud. And automatically, the document is available in the Salesforce tab. So once the supplier has uploaded the document, it sends again to the customer to see if the customer is agree with the content, and if the customer is agree the content of the document, the customer sign it via cosign. In this case, using the cloud service, the client could have been used another digital signature provider, but in this case, we are going to use, again, cosign. And once the document has been signed, it is send it back to the supplier. And in this case, the supplier has won the project. All the services the provider has been used are accessed in an unified way using single sign-on. In this case, we have using SAML and a standard for exchanging the authentication and authorization data between the identity provider and the service provider. We are going to see this use case with the video. Okay. The architecture we are going to use is the following. In the client side, has using his Gmail account and his Cosine account in the cloud. And in the supplier side, we are using PingOne as identity manager in order to manage the user credential. And with this credential, the user can access all the rest of services using the credential stores in PingOne. In this way, we have improving the security because the user credential is not transmitted between requests to the services because only the result of the authentication in PingOne is sent to the services. So, for example, a man-in-the-middle attack wouldn't make effect here because the user credential has not been conveyed to the services. So once the customer has sent the requirement document to the supplier creates the opportunity in Gmail and automatically is stored in Alfresco Cloud and synchronized in the Alfresco on-premise. And in this instance, with a custom development module, the Cosine, the supplier can sign the document and send it back to the client. So, so this is the first step in the use case. The client is accessing his Gmail account and creating the requirement document to send it to the supplier. The client attached the document and send to the supplier. Once the client has sent the document to the supplier access his Gmail account to see the document, but instead of accessing in the normal way, it is going to use the single sign-on service through PingOne, using the credentials in the PingOne identity provider. So once he has logged in PingOne, PingOne shows the desktop with the service the supplier is going to access, and it accesses to the Gmail account. In the Gmail account of the supplier, the new document is in the inbox, and it downloads and store it in the download folder, and then with the same credential, it is going to access to Salesforce to create the new possible opportunity for that client. With the Alfresco plugin, when a new opportunity is created, all the attached documents are stored in the Alfresco cloud. Well, the new opportunity is being created. So once the new opportunity is created, no Alfresco documents are available right now, and then attach a new document. The document has been uploaded successfully, and it is shown in the Alfresco document section of Salesforce. And now if we go to the Alfresco Cloud instance, we can see the new document available in the configure site in Salesforce, in the Sales Summit site. In the attachment folder, in the Opportunity Client 4, we can see the new document. And if we go to the Alfresco on-premise instance, when the document is stored in Alfresco from Salesforce, all the Salesforce metadata is stored in the Alfresco cloud. So we can use this metadata, these properties, to perform, for example, advanced search within Alfresco. And this document is synchronized automatically in the Alfresco on-premise instance. We can make a simple search within Alfresco, for example, with the opportunity name, with the client 4, and the result is the new uploaded document. And now accessing to the on-premise instance, through PingOne, the document is already available thanks to the synchronization. And here we can use all the custom development we have installed in this instance. For example, the cosine module. So this is the requirement document. And now the supplier is going to create the sequence of Word documents with the solution for the requirements. It is going to upload it through Salesforce. And this document is going to be signed with cosine in the Alfresco instance, on-premise instance. In the Zaizi signature site. The supplier update the new opportunity, attaching a new file. Once the new document is uploaded, this is shown in the Alfresco document section of Salesforce. And now the supplier can sign the new document before to be sent to the client. Well, this is available in the Alfresco Cloud thanks to the Salesforce Alfresco plugin. And then in the Alfresco on-premise instance, we can sign the document thanks to the cosine module in the sign with cosine action in the right side of the screen. Clicking on sign document, the cosine screen appears. We enter the credential to sign. This module has been developed by Zaizi, and it's used the cloud, the cosign cloud instance or a cosign on-premise instance, whatever you want, depends of the company needs. For example, apply the signature in the document. We can see the new signature for the document and the details. For example, the signing time, the signed by, and the detail of the certificate used in the signature. And thanks to the synchronization again, the document is synchronized with the Alfresco cloud instance, and in turn available in the Salesforce opportunity section. This is the details of the verification of the signature to show that this is a valid signature. Now we are going to send the new document to the client. In order to do that, we are going to use Cloudy, that is a plugin for Chrome to allow attach documents from different repositories. For example, Alfresco. Avoiding to access Alfresco, download the document, and then attach manually to the mail. Using Cloudy, the document is attached to the mail and sent to the client. Again, in the client side, the client reviews the content of the document, and if it accepts the content, it signs the document and sends it back to the supplier. So in this case, the customer is going to use the cosign cloud service to sign the document. So the client selects the document signed by the supplier, we suppose that the client accepts the condition, and sign the document in the client slot. So the document has been signed, and we can see the details. So in order to finish, the client sends the new signed document via email to the supplier. The client indicates that the sequence of work is accepted and sent through mail. And finally, we win the project.
So there are many steps in the use case. I don't know if you have cached everything. So basically what we have done is try to use this architecture, okay, combining cloud services and on-premise services. The use case that we have proposed is basically an interaction between the client and the supplier, where the client say, okay, I have this business requirement, and the supplier creates a opportunity in Salesforce. This document is synchronized in Alfresco in the cloud and also on-premise. We review this document, we create an statement of work, we sign this statement of work, we create a new, we update the opportunity that we had in Salesforce, we sign it using our Alfresco cosign extension in Alfresco on-premise because everything is synchronized. We send this statement of work already signed to the client, and the client, in this case, using cosign as a service, return us saying, guys, you win the project, okay? So this is basically the use case where we have seen synchronization, integration, and also authentication, okay? So that's everything from our, you want to say something?
So the conclusions, the conclusions are that the cloud market is growing quickly because the most companies has moved into the cloud to offer their service. As a client, you might or you must use the architecture that fits well to your needs. For example, the most commonly used infrastructure is the mixed infrastructure, using the best of the cloud services and the best of the on-premise services. For example, with the on-premise instance, we can mitigate some limitation of the cloud. We have available all the custom development we have done during the life of the company. The challenge we have seen in previous slides, we have solved most of them because with the single sign-on, it's possible to access all the services using only one credential in the identity provider, avoiding to the user remember all the user and passwords in all of services. The integration with third parties are easier, like we have seen with Salesforce plus Alfresco. The synchronization between Alfresco on-premise and Alfresco cloud is pretty straightforward because it's available out of the box in the Alfresco on-premise enterprise. So we have to do nothing to have synchronizing the documents in the cloud and in our premise infrastructure. So that's all.
So if you have any question or whatever. Yeah, please. Any question? This can mean that everything is understood okay, or we have not explained well, okay? So, there is one. Hey, my friend.
So I'm actually not going to ask about the Salesforce part of this, but because we were talking about that earlier. But I am interested in the SSO. Were there any tips that you found when integrating the different services with SSO? You showed the different settings. Did you find differences in the implementations that people should perhaps look out for when they're doing this themselves?
Basically, what we have configured in PingOne is the metadata that this tool requires from all the services. Where, I mean, the service that we have registered in PingOne. Okay, so we have to configure both sides, the identity provider and also the service provider. And basically, what we include in both sides is the certificate, the endpoint, and some URL that this tool uses to redirect the request when we are trying to make single sign-on. Basically that. Okay.
We have used SAML because PingOne have different modules supporting this protocol. For example, the Alfresco and Salesforce are available in Salesforce. So we could have been used another protocol like OAuth, OpenID, or OpenID Connect, but we have decided to use SAML.
Okay. Anything else, guys? Nothing? Okay, so thank you so much. Yo.